That time to walk into the world of the big stories, the headlines in the dailies across Nigeria. Freshly pressed is what you are tuned into on the Smooth Breakfast this hump of the week, Wednesday morning, 31 minutes past 7 a.m. It's great to have you join us once again. My name is Ayokunmi. Pleasure, as always, to walk you through the stories. Analysis will follow. Your contributions also play a big part in proceedings. So please do send those thoughts, those opinions, those perspectives into us on WhatsApp. The number is 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981. That is the WhatsApp number. Also, join us on YouTube where we're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Already, it's Wednesday, so you know, joining me two very fine gentlemen ready to share their perspectives in the persons of Devoe, Okorie, and of course, Lakunle Yusuf. Good morning to you, Lakunle.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Devoe. It's a Wednesday and reciprocity. I hope my English is correct. Is the
Mm,
buzzword for the week.
yes,
Let's
indeed.
let's do it.
All right, Devoe, good morning.
Morning, Devoe. Can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you, Devoe. Go on.
Okay. Morning, world. Morning, Lagos. Ewa Lakunle. Midweek, here we come. A cool country where presidents not there around.
You should be back sometime soon. I mean, I think Brick should be done pretty soon. I should be back doing what he needs to do. But anyways, let's leave that to the side. And I want to just hop on something like only said, reciprocity. And that is the buzzword of this story that I'm bringing to your table right now, Devoe. It has to do with the US. The US Department of State. Now, they've announced an update to their non-immigrant visa policy for Nigerians. Now, according to a press release issued by the U.S. Embassy in Abuja on Tuesday, most non-immigrant and non-diplomatic visas issued to citizens of Nigeria will be single-entry visas with a 3-month validity period. Now, the new visa restrictions take immediate effect. However, the embassy clarified that those U.S. non-immigrant visas issued before July the 8th of 2025 will retain their status and validity. Now, Devo, can we say that this is a level of reciprocity to a degree, bearing in mind that, of course, Nigeria has strict visa immigration regulations on one hand, and also, you know, Nigeria is a BRICS nation, as it were, and the US is not exactly BRICS friendly. So, are there some politics going on in that regard, and what's the implication of this in general?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, this was brought to my attention yesterday. I think when the American Embassy consular mission put out this update, and basically they said they were trying to harmonize the visa uh, uh, visa policies globally. Okay,
Mm,
and to that extent, in Nigeria there was a gap. So this action was done to ensure that the policy of reciprocity is upheld. Now, people need to understand what reciprocity is. Reciprocity is the operating tool or word in diplomacy. Okay, it might sound like a big word, but in simple Nigerian English, it means you do me, I do you.
I just knew you were going there.
Yes, that you treat me well, I treat you well. You treat me badly, I treat you badly. So if in mathematics, if you align that with um, what has happened here, prior to this time, the U.S. gave Nigerian citizens going to America, that's immigrants,
Mm,
um, morning. They gave us 2 years, okay, multiple entry visa. Then during the Biden era, it was increased to 5 years, multiple entry. Okay.
right.
Now, um, but many of us did not know that. On the other hand, on the flip side, Americans who come to Nigeria are only given 3 months single entry, meaning that after 3 months, they have to go back to America, apply again, and come back. So in what is fair, Abi. America
So
has
they
now
say.
decided, yes, America has now decided to balance that by ensuring that we also get the same thing for our citizens when we're in their place. Now, obviously, many people panicked. Many people are panicking right now because, yes, those who have gotten their visas approved prior to this time will maintain their 5 years, okay? But from July 8th, which was yesterday,
Yeah.
going forward, this is the new policy. Now, they've said it's an ongoing policy, it can always be reviewed. Nothing is cast in stone, which simply
Mm.
means if Nigeria decides to say, okay, well, now to the vex now, they're not a joke with them again. Nigeria needs to do the needful to ensure that we get back what we are receiving on the other angle. And that's why I made the joke, a cool president where they are abroad. He's with a whole contingent of top uh, ministers, like the coordinating minister of the economy, Wale Edun. He's with the minister of foreign affairs, solid minerals, and other strategic things. We actually need to get job done. You know, we've concentrated a lot on on politics to the disadvantage of governance. And I'm saying this
Right.
because this issue that America has done, I think in the article they spoke with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and they responded that they were studying it to see what actions they would take. That they believe, yes, every country can set its own visa policy, and that this might be coming because Trump, in his own new policies, apart from the tariffs, but he's also looking at many visa restrictions for different countries to curb the inflow of immigrants into America. Of course, America is entitled to that. But every country's foreign policy is is more or less second to none in terms of your strategy in developing your own country. I've said it
Right.
before. Nigeria has gone to bed regarding foreign policy. The amount of foreign policy is not about traveling to different nations because people get it wrong. That, oh, once I'm in foreign affairs, I'll be traveling. That's not the plan. The plan is to ensure the objective is that in going to those countries, there's an exchange one way or the other. You do me, I do you. I have solid minerals, I have crude oil, I have what do you call it? I have salt, I have zinc, I have lead, I have arable land. Okay, what do you have? I have tractors, I have agri expertise,
Let's
I have
exchange.
extractive. Yes, I have extractive ministry capacity. I can process your zinc and your lithium into that exchange
Correct.
must take place for there to be a balance of trade. So, it, in summary, all I'm saying is that Nigeria needs to quickly, because it's not just even for the American case. And this is the last thing I'll say. I remember when I was speaking to an old South African consular, and you know the trouble Nigerians face in going to South Africa. He said there's something I don't know, that after Mandela was released, South Africa gave Nigerians free entry into visa free into South Africa. But at some point along the line, Nigeria started stopping South Africans from coming freely into Nigeria, which was
Ah,
why they stopped us and the troubles began. So you can see
there we are.
the homework is in our court. We are the ones causing our own people the inability to flow freely in and out with foreign nations. So let's get business done. Less politics, more governance.
Less politics, more governance. And once again, reciprocity is the word of the morning. Thank you for sharing that, Devoe. All right, Lakunle, let us talk about matters that have to do with education. And I know that this is something that is, in a way, passionate where you are concerned. We're stepping into the Guardian right now, where the story says that vice chancellors of universities have adopted 150, yes, 150 as the minimum cutoff score for the 2025-26 academic admission. Rectors of polytechnics and provosts of colleges of education and agriculture have also picked 100 as the minimum admissible score, while colleges of nursing adopted 140. This was the outcome of the 2025 policy meeting in Abuja on Tuesday. Luckily, interesting developments. I will say that this 150 is an improvement on the 140 that was agreed to as at last year. But when all is said and done, how does this help us in terms of tertiary education in Nigeria?
Okay, let me quickly just, I read through the entire length of the story, right? There are a few things also to highlight before I go to the big elephant in the story itself. Okay, so this was at the 2025 policy meeting of the Ministry of Education, where of university admissions, where JAM, the body responsible for matriculation and admissions to universities, the Ministry of Education, Committee of Vice Chancellors meet and agree on going forward, right? At that meeting, the Minister of Education issued a statement and said that the minimum age of entry into university is 16. Remember earlier this year, there has been a lot of debate about that and that and that and that.
Yes, that
We
was a
have
big
had
issue.
psychologists tell us about why hurrying children to go to school at age 2, 3, and the resultant effects sometime later in the future and all that. All those ones are debates to be making. The point I want to highlight in this is that while in the story saying that that is the policy and that it will not, it is not going to be any younger age will not be tolerated. He also now said provision exists for exceptional cases, such as gifted students or those with accelerated educational paths. What that ever means, only him will be able to explain it. In simple English, it appears clear. But when you say the minimum age of entry is 16, but you now create a window for people to bend your rules, I mean, that is what comes to my mind. You now say, what does exceptional gifted children mean? A gifted child is a gifted child. Help the child to develop that gift until age 16 before he enters university. You can't say because he's gifted, then you go and send him to university at age 13. A 13-year-old, no matter how gifted, is a 13-year-old. You either stick to your 16 or leave it open for people to do whatever they want, right? That's the point of that one. And that's my opinion about that bit. The minister will need to explain how this window, this proviso is going to affect the age 16.
Yeah.
Now to the story itself. It was at this session also that the university, the JAM registrar, Professor Loide, announced the highest scorers. Someone, Okeke Chinedu, scored 375 over 400 mechanical engineering. As a trained engineer myself, I'm so happy that it is people who are going to study engineering that are top 4 on the list. All of them, one in Abuad, Unilag. I think 4 of them are like that. Having said that, now, when you look at that distance, somebody scored 375. He's still going to be subjected to writing post-UTME in Unilag. Then somebody who scored 140 or 140, 150 is also subjected to that. Do you know it's possible that 375 may not get admitted in that Unilag with the UTME they are going to write? But don't let us even debate that one. That's also out of the scope of this conversation. Now, the score of it is that you say 150. 150 is 40%. I think maybe 30, less than 40% of the total score, right? Meanwhile, the WAEC they wrote to qualify them that they're going to use as qualifying, what's it called? To one of the considerations they're going to use to take them into the universities.
Yes.
The minimum score is a credit, which is in my time we used to call it C6. I don't know what it is now. And the score for C6 is 50 or thereabout. So how do you say that to enter my university to study biology, you must have 50 in biology in secondary school, but you will enter university with 40? Why
It's
are
even
we
up to 40,
lowering the bar?
about 37 point something percent or so.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying now, that it's even less than 40%.
Less than 40,
so
yeah.
why are we lowering the bar? You say to pass WAEC, it is 50%. But to enter university, to pass to enter university is 150. There's also a proviso to that as well. It does not necessarily mean that once you have 150, you will enter. So, for example, medicine in any university today, Nigerian Council of Dental and Medical, whatever, MDCN, or I can't remember. Yeah,
MDCN,
have a maximum number of spaces per university. With the same thing for law. Okay, so law in, say, LASU, for example, has 180. If they say that the minimum
Are you there, Lakunle? Oh dear. Okay, you can.
181 people scoring 200.
Okay, he's back.
You will not take the person. There will be no space for the person who scored 150 to enter that university anyway. So it's just saying that for you to be considered at all, you must score 150. But you see, the problem I have with that is that people would not understand this thing to mean so. So you say, Shebi, they said it's 150, and they are not admitting me. Why? But you see, the competition for the spaces in those universities, in all the universities, is much more than the score that the JAMB and Council of VCs are considering. There is no how. 2 million people wrote the JAMB exam this year, right? All our universities combined, all the courses combined, I don't think they're up to 1 million spaces. So pray, how is a 150 going to be a part of the number? Anyway, this year, about over 70% scored less than 200 anyway.
And 200.
So we're going to find a situation whereby this 150 people will enter. That's another perspective. Now, go down the line. Colleges of education, where we're supposed to train teachers, we're choosing 100 as score mark. That's 30%, less than 30% of the score. School of nursing, where we're going to train our medical attendants, our medical people, 140. We're not attracting the best people to the most critical places. It means that when you do a scale, it is the worst of the set that you are saying that should go and learn to become teachers, should go and learn to become nurses. Guess what? These are the nurses who qualify from here and then go abroad. You know that's what happens now. If you check universities, particularly private universities, you will notice that nursing is one of the most applied for courses these days. So when you now have those kind of things, in my mind, I'm thinking, isn't there a way to attract the best people to education, to
These are the
nursing,
questions.
to lab tech? You know, I mean, just leave it an open field. I don't know our thought process in arriving at 150, because the profiling it tells me is that we are giving preferences to some. How much different would we say is the importance of a nurse and a doctor? Not comparing them, I'm just saying because all of them are in the medical practice.
They all
Before
have
the doctor
their
comes,
importance is
the
definitely.
nurse, exactly. Before a doctor comes, the nurses who should have attended to you first. Imagine a nurse who clerks you and does not clerk you properly for the doctor to be able to attend to you, because the nurse is at the bottom barrel of the consideration for training. So those are the things that goes on in my mind. I am not particularly sure that we're doing this because that is the only thing to do, or that is the only way we can do it. But I think that we should revisit these things and think about how we're going to find a balance so that these things don't appear as it appears to all of us.
Most definitely. You know what? This conversation is one that rages back and forth, and it's one we're going to continue at 9 o'clock on Lagos Talks to get more of your thoughts and perspectives on this particular matter. There's a message here. Okay, let me see. I think something's wrong with this WhatsApp. I can't see the names attached to the contact, so forgive me this morning. It says 150 Bao. What is going on? This is half of the cutoff mark from about 10 years ago. Things are happening. This is Sunday in Surrey. It says, on the US visa updates impacting Nigerians, I think our leaders actually may love it. They seem to have an unwritten mandate to ensure that every Nigerian stays back to feel the effect of the premium shege being dished out daily. They won't work in our favor, and they won't let us. And they won't let us too. Even Pharaoh didn't do up to this. Now, well, you went there at that point in time, so let's leave Pharaoh out of this one Sunday, please. All right, Devoe, I'm coming back to your table with this one. Let's step into the Daily Trust and talk about issues that have to do with power. Now, the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, says the federal government is working on transitioning to a cost-reflective tariff to stop an increase in the 4 trillion naira debt it owes the sector. Now, the minister who spoke during the Mission 300 stakeholders engagement meeting in Abuja said this is part of reforms to set the power sector on the path of sustainability and bankability as well. I'll let you take this one, Devoe, because time is not our friend.
Yes, I will. I'm still studying the Mission 300 approach to resolving the electricity problems in Africa, which is by bringing 300 million Africans to reliable energy in the next 5 years with a budget of about, I think they mentioned $32 billion, of which the private sector is meant to contribute half of that. $32 billion is equal to the Nigerian budget, which is about 50 trillion naira. Okay? Now, that is almost to the extent that Dangote, just a little above what Dangote invested in the 650 liters per day refinery. So you can see how far Nigeria needs to go. Now, the problem is he was speaking at this forum and saying that despite the fact that they reformed pricing with Band A, they still have not met up with the cost-reflective price, and that the government will still be looking at how it can subsidize for those who cannot pay. Now, just to break this down, even the coordinating minister of the economy said the reforms have led to the improvement of 40% of electricity distribution.
Right.
I don't know what the minister is talking about, because you and I know that light has not improved, despite the fact that even people are paying more. So I've always said it, they just have to call a state of emergency regarding electricity. It's the one solution that would shift the status of this country and resolve a lot of our issues regarding production. Production is not just having a manufacturing company. Productivity means human power development, which is human capital development, which is education. You know how many of our schools are having electricity challenges at all levels, primary, secondary, tertiary. Productivity in the medical sector. You know how many medical exercises are not going well simply because of lack of electricity.
Lack of power, yeah.
Agriculture, manufacturing, business. I mean, why have we not called a state of emergency regarding the sector that would have the most impact on Nigeria? If at the end of the day, if one Dangote, with the support of the federal government in his days, was able to spend 20 billion, then can we not pool more investors? Oh, so now if Dangote decides, all right, let me pull in my friend Bill Gates to bring that $15 billion, he can now. He has like 90, right? AY. And then they resolve the power problems in Nigeria. What will people start screaming? Monopoly, monopoly, monopoly. Can you see how we do this to ourselves? So I think the ministry is just talking, because at the end of the day, they haven't really done much. What I expect is a extraordinary measures to be taken where power and electricity distribution is concerned. This discussion over 4,000 megawatts, we added 1,000 megawatts. You're joking. We're not supposed to be dragging with Ghana. Ghana is our junior brother. Ghana should be saying, yes, one day I will be like Nigeria. But as the way we're going to, Ghana is doing far better than us. Our peers are like the South Africans and like the Egypts. We keep wanting to claim that we're economic world power, continental power. We're trying to shift. The GDP figures have not come out. We've been trying to see how we'll do it so that we'll look good. But no matter what you put on paper, no matter the wash that the federal government engages in, sit down and take the same way you moved subsidy out, the same way you took a strategic decision and harmonized the FX market, take the same measure as regards power production in this country. And we will see us last time I told you before, if they completed the Lagos-Ibadan road, we will all support APC, since that road took them 30 years. But finally, they did it. Is APC not in power? We've said it again. If Tinubu can deliver 20,000 megawatts, that's times it by 4, what we're doing at the moment, we will keep APC in power for the next 60 years. AY, are you with me?
Well, I'd rather sit on the fence on that one, Devoe. But hey, that is your own perspective. Don't drag me into it. Well, thank you for sharing those thoughts. Let me take a few messages before I come back to you, Lakunle, because I'm trying to see if I can get everything across the line by the time we end the show. Rexian Ruler says, what is Devoe's point, though? What is the big deal about U.S. visas that the president needs to be in Nigeria to get more than 3 months single entry visa? BRICS is more important to us than the U.S. going forward. You agree with that, Devoe?
Who told him that? Do you
That's
know the long
that's Rex's opinion.
relationship? No, the point is BRICS is an attempt to create an alternative system, which is not bad. The point is this: I can assure you Donald Trump will not be there forever. He just has a few more years left. The traditional and it is safe to say that our relationship with America, if well utilized, because I also blame Nigeria for not optimizing the relationship with America. So you can see what's going on now. They're pointing out the gaps that we have been making by not allowing their own citizens to this country. If Nigeria optimizes its relationship properly, we would have gone far further than where we are right now. So I'm not saying this to diminish the BRICS. The Chinese, the Indian, and the Russian relationship is as equally important. That's the whole idea behind foreign policy. You balance the mix of your partners to ensure a beautiful outcome.
All right, thank you for clarification on that one, Devoe. All right, Lakunle, let us step into The Guardian. The special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, has alleged that a group of political actors is plotting to remove the president from office ahead of the 2027 general elections. Now, he made the claim in a post on X on Tuesday, without naming specific individuals or parties. He said the alleged efforts are being coordinated by those he described as haters of Nigeria's progress. Because time is of the essence, Lakunle, I will let you take this one. I mean, these are serious allegations any way you want to look at it. And some would say, the witch cried yesterday, the child died this morning. There's a connection there. But Lakunle, just walk us through this one as quickly as you can.
I think that Ogbeni Bayo Onanuga should be careful of the kind of statements he utters these days. We don't have to hit up the quality. You already said it. Why, if they know this, why don't you report it to the appropriate authorities to investigate? So imagine in 2013 or was it 2014 when the APC was being formed and parties and they were forming coalition on that time. Imagine that somebody in the government of that time has also said they were plotting to remove they are plotting it didn't say who this one that they are plotting to remove the president from office. The only way you can remove a president from office is by election. So if they are forming a coalition against 2027, it's a plot too. So, but you see, we need to be careful the way we use these words to mean different things in people's minds.
Right.
It's a plot is a plan. You are planning to form a party that can rival you at the election in 2027 is a plot. But the way it is contrived in this report is to suggest that they are planning to remove the president by other means other than through elections. And I think that at the level where we are, all of us need to be responsible with and for what we say and do about things like this. I was old enough to have lived through, I think I lived through, maybe the only military regime I didn't live through in Nigeria is probably the Iransi and the early part of the Gowon one. Yeah, I've lived through all of them. And I know in my mind, never again should it ever happen to us. The worst civilian administration is better than the best military administration anywhere in the world. And we need to be careful what we say. We need to be careful not to incite people ordinarily and not even thinking about these things. The position Mr. Onanuga holds is too sensitive and too important for him to just be loose with his words and contriving it to make different things when he could easily have said something different. All of us would have our ideas about how Nigeria should be run. It does not mean we hate Nigeria. It's just that we have a different idea. And we must learn to be civil in our agreements and disagreements.
Very important to be civil in our agreements and disagreements. And words carry a lot of power. How we use them is very, very key. All right, let me rush through the remaining messages here. This is a message from Uluwase, if I'm correct. Like I said, the WhatsApp is acting funny, so names aren't attached to the number. So forgive me if your name isn't in the message. It says if you have 220 in pre-post UTME era, you have near zero chances of any admission. No worries, Sha. The 150s will default to polytechnics, and those from richer homes will be sent to private universities. As for the US doing us tit for tat, don't worry. We have a habit of shooting ourselves in the foot. It happened in the 70s, I've been at 80s when we slammed the UK with visa restrictions and they returned the favor. And a small Ghana and a small Ghana small them senior us for age. Well, technically, yes, they are older than us in terms of age. So there you have it. Another one here says there are universal tests for child prodigies. Do we test our children? Harvard, Yale, and others are ready to invest in them, unlocking their full potential. This one is from Babasunde Alao says, Bayo Onanuga should be very careful how he interprets simple statements. He should not incite crisis. I beg, the guy needs padlock. Okay. Barrister Danukuda Inugondo says, the Ministry of Education is clearly encouraging mediocrity in our educational system. No wonder the continued fall in the standard of education. Okay. Let me see here. Who else is talking to us? A lot of messages to actually get through. This is from Ade in Lagos. Ade says, today JAM has reduced the mark from 250 to 150, 100 for polytechnics, all because they want to prioritize making money than education. That is why he has destroyed. I think you're referring to the president of the government and so on.
Quickly. I think that last response is not factual and it's not true. One, cutoff mark officially minimum score from JAMB had never been 250. It had always been around 200. One, and then they have not done it because of money. They have done it by the reality of what we face. Now, we wrote JAMB. This last one, we all hear that 70% of who scored below 200.
200.
So what do we do? Do we say all the 70% that didn't score for 200 go and join the next 1 million who are going to write for the first time next year and increase the number? Or we say if there is space to take them in the current year, take them and hopefully they improve. Some of these things, yes, may sound on the face of it. While I had argued, why are we doing 150? But on the second thought, when you look at it from this perspective also, rules are made for men and not men for rules. So sometimes some of it is just that we do not need to make it hard and fast. This is one of the arguments people say that let every university decide what they want for themselves.
All right, thank you, Lakunle. Tony Marine Beach says it's really interesting direction our leaders have shown to be taking our education. F9 now gains admission into our tertiary institutions. And with this, we can easily tell what the future is, especially for the political scientists. So it's not automatic. It's just the bare minimum for them to then take.
It's not automatic. It does not mean with 140 you will enter, but you stand a chance. If there is space for you to enter that course, you will stand a chance to be taken.
All right, let me squeeze one more in here. Joseph Menier says the power minister and chairman of NERC should just open up that they are shareholders in these discos because these power companies keep fleecing consumers with estimated billing and the fraudulent bans. Even in darkness, they still charge customers, yet there's argument for higher tariffs. May God bless Nigeria. Yes, indeed. And on YouTube, eBay says, at the end, we deserve what we get concerning the visa challenges. All right, we need to go this morning. Thank you all for keeping it tuned as always and for all the messages. Devoe and Lakunle, very big thank you to you. Final words as we end the show this morning.
So the other bigger news, I'm sure we would have discussed it earlier in the week. Ibadan Disco was sold for 100 billion. And does it mean then that there will be power improved in those number of states that Ibadan Disco covers? So let's have a good week and hope that in all the things that we have discussed today, we'll see some things that will brighten our day. Thank you, Ayo, for having me. See you next week.
Thank you, Lakunle. Devoe, some words of encouragement for us.
I'm encouraging everybody to go and buy a canoe. The rains and flooding that is coming this year. Go and buy your canoe in time, so that when the flood comes.
Stop using disposable plastics and styrofoam containers.
When the flood comes, you will not be caught unawares. We have
Stop
warned you.
blocking our drainages with your wastes.
Thank you all. Thank you, gentlemen, for the words of wisdom. Very much appreciated. And have a great Wednesday and rest of the week as well. All right, Lagos.
I'll see you next week.
Yes, indeed, Lakunle. All right, keep it tuned to the Smooth Breakfast. We'll kick on at 8:15 when I come back in, and it'll be all about sporting action in the locker room. Don't go anywhere.
Ayo.